I was thinking about this the other day. I teach a certified personal trainer class at Lionel University. And we have these discussion pieces. And one of them is, how do we evolve the business of training and fitness forward? And what's interesting, the students all believe it's through science and technology and all the apps and shiny things out there. And I come along and give them reality of what's actually happening and what we need to do to change this industry. Because most of them don't even know that the majority of them actually won't even be in the business in 12 months, which is a sad reality. But one of the reasons that's happening, I think, is because one of the pillars we're missing is mentorship. So that brings in my lovely colleagues here, Debbie and Erin, who are the project team with me and our partner idea and bringing forth the first nationwide fitness mentorship program and well-being. Thank you both for being on.
Thank you. We're excited to talk about it.
Yeah, I think it's good to give some background too. Like this group has had a kind of a fun coming together story a bit here. And I think we've all kind of somewhat known of each other throughout the time. And I really started interacting primarily with Erin first, because she was in one of my presentations for IDEA during the pandemic. Virtual, right? It was one of my virtual ones.
Yeah.
Erin,
hmm
right. Erin reached out to me, and as they say, the rest is history at that. And we've become great work colleagues. Have done many projects together, and this mentorship program is the biggest thing we're doing. And then Debbie, I'd been posting, and when I post things, I always tag Debbie or heard of Debbie quite a bit, but never talked to Debbie. And then said, "Hey, Debbie, let's do this podcast together." So we did a podcast a while back, and that kind of really birthed this mentorship idea of like, let's do this and really go going. And then we brought Erin into the fold because she writes about it a lot. And man, that felt like a lifetime ago because there's a lot of work happened in between after that.
It's gone so fast.
Yeah, it really has. So I would, kind of love to kind of get your impression on what I talked about, kind of my little intro there. And then why mentorship has been particularly of importance to each of you individually.
I think why mentorship is so important to me is because I felt always untethered, I guess, after, graduating college and graduate school, having certifications and kind of wondering what that next step is. And there was that like unanchored sort of feeling of who do I ask and where do I go and how can I ensure success? And if I make a mistake, how do I guide myself back towards it and towards success or how to redo it and make a different choice? And I think that's the feeling so many coming out into the industry feel is like, what's next? Because in programs and getting a certification, it's often thought of as like, okay, it's the end game. I made it. I'm done. But that's really the starting line. That's like the start of this very hopeful career. But we need guides on the side, and I feel like mentorship has always been that missing link in the industry because we look at there's statistics out there on attrition in the industry, and many don't make it past 12 or 18 months, and they let their certification lapse after that typical 2-year cycle because they don't have the guide. They don't have a compass. They don't have someone more experienced or someone that's been in those steps before to help them understand kind of best practice and how to navigate certain things in the industry or how to, build your brand or things like that. And I feel like had I had that, I would have made fewer U-turns. I would have probably had a little bit more confidence in what I was doing going forward. And I truly think, yes, like your students have said, it's technology and the bright, flashy things. That certainly plays a role. I mean, one of the trends is fitness technology, right? We're seeing that in wearables, we're seeing that in AI, we're seeing it all over the place. But really, none of that matters if you don't know the steps to take. And a mentor is someone that can help guide you in a certain way and not necessarily like train you like them to be them. Like that's not the point of a mentorship. It's not to eclipse who you are or to copycat the person guiding you, but it's to learn from them. So it's sort of this coach in your pocket approach and being able to have a trusted person you can go to ask these questions. And I feel like mentorship has always been that missing link. And what would happen if we had something like a national program to kind of close that gap and hopefully stop that attrition or at least change that statistic in a meaningful way?
Most definitely. What do you think, Debbie? How has it impacted you?
I think for me, the reason I'm so passionate about this mentorship program, a couple of things. One, I grew up in the industry and it has given me the most incredible joy of my career. On the wings of fitness, health, wellness, I have traveled the world. I've been an educator. I've lived in new places. My career's taken me all over. And at the root of all of those opportunities, there's been a great mentor. Whether I knew it at the time or I didn't, straight out of my master's degree. And I've had exceptional joy in my career. If I look at my 30 plus career and my different roles, and if you were to say, what's your legacy going to be, Debbie, or what's made you the happiest? At the heart of Debbie is the ability to train and develop young professionals. I mean, there is nothing like it to me when you can nudge someone and I've had teams nudge them just slightly out of their comfort zone. They tell you they can't, they take the step, they do, and then they give the resignation and they move on to their next big role. Those moments are pure joy. So that's my first direction and passion to make this happen with both of you. The other is, I think, another very pivotal life experience for me and really wanting to fill a gap in the industry was the impact of COVID. And so not only did it decimate our industry, I lost a very large role that I was perfect for in so many ways, moved my life yet again for this magical role to do all the things I'm trained to do. And it evaporated, the role evaporated with COVID, of course. But then I went into this huge abyss of what's next. And I was seeking mentors. So I'm not the boss anymore. I've taken the leap to become my own person in my own company. Do you know how hard it was to find a trusted mentor? I have never seen so much garbage. And this is the conversation Darian and I had. I'm just going to say it because it is a
Yes.
huge catalyst in my soul to make a difference. Make your 100,000 in 3 months, 6 months. And the whole industry exploded in that direction. And of course, I had a lot of missteps in that direction as I decided I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to do this on my own. I'm going to be an educator, trainer, do all the things. So many missteps in there. And I really started to doubt. And this is when you and I met, Darian, the integrity of our industry. And that just does not sit for me. I grew up in this industry. I think we're better than that. And I think there has to be a stronger voice. And we're that to make a difference both with young individuals newly graduating, contemplating, putting a foot in our industry, which we desperately need. We've had more leave the industry than come into the industry. Um, Career 2.0 individuals who have had a wonderful career, want to be an active person in retirement and do something that feels like a give back, right? And our industry is seemingly always top of mind. But I'm with Erin when she says we need to have responsibility to create a genuine roadmap with bumper guards led by our hearts and our abilities to direct. And there's not enough of that. And so this project has just been pure joy with both of you.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity to give back, but I think we really are going to be filling a very necessary gap and in the industry. And the last thing I would share is I do think 5 years out of COVID, give or take, the industry is changing so very rapidly and it needs leaders who can lead from the front lines anticipating change. So the industry needs to be led by change makers. What we did 2 years ago, it's not relevant. 1 year ago, it's not relevant anymore because it's changing that rapidly. And that's where I want to be. I want to be right at the front of it, waving our flags that this is the industry to join and stay in and make magic happen. So for me, that's what this project is about.
Yeah, that's wonderful, Debbie. I appreciate that commentary. So let's look at this two ways. Before we talk about this solution that we're all bringing forth, and also acknowledge the other advocates in the industry who are doing great work. This industry really became more formalized in the 1990s with third party accreditation, certification organizations, and now we're here in 2025. Why hasn't a nationwide mentorship program been developed in all this time? What has kept us from actually getting to the point where we're actually at right now?
Debbie, do you want to go first or do you want me to?
Happy to. My head is just buzzing with this.
I know
So,
that was me too. My
yeah.
God, where do I start?
So I'm just going to be very candid because that
Please
is the
do.
essence of the work. And the three of us, lift each other up in the work and our new community that we formed. I think we're very proud of the fact that we are leading with integrity and honesty and compassion. And so the reason I believe, I think there's many reasons, but I think one of the leading reasons that this does not yet exist is very much that it has not been viewed to be a moneymaker. If it's not going to be a revenue driver, an ancillary revenue line on somebody's budget somewhere, why would we do the work? That's what I truly believe. I think there is too much impatience in our industry at all levels of the industry, not just leadership, but also frontline. If we don't have instant gratification for something we're committing to, we're not committing. Oh, and if it doesn't hit our pocketbook immediately either, why would I invest any time? That is very short-sighted. And the three of us have learned, the three of us, not one of us, two of us, but there's three of us meeting many hours each week, taking the direction from one another and our new community that we formed and doing the work because we know it's going to make the difference that's needed. So I think for me, probably one of the leading factors when it's possibly been evaluated before is how do I make money with this? And maybe that roadmap wasn't clear. So I'm just going to leave it there and hand it to Erin for commentary.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think also doing something like this and making it nationwide and doing it in a way that doesn't disenfranchise any one pro because they're certified here or there, or it's work and it's hard and it's time and it takes momentum. And honestly, it takes a team. It really does. I couldn't imagine one person trying to burst this beautiful thing and being able to do it in such a way that does create that community. So I think, again, like going back to your point about the moneymaker, and which is there's an irony in that too, because how much more successful would the industry be in terms of revenue or, presence in the industry, advocacy, if we had that mentorship step, if that was something our pros could do that directly connects to their success. And when they're successful, our industry is successful, at least more successful than it has been. And then we retain more of those professionals because of that. So I think, Debbie, your point is right on, is that how do I make money with this? And again, it takes time, effort, it takes creativity, it takes thought. It also takes that sort of willingness to commit to something that's going to take time to cultivate. And when we're so busy in different areas of our lives, it's hitting that pause button and being willing to dig in and then also go back, retrace your steps when something doesn't work. Because again, this is very innovative. It's new. We're not following a model. We're basically creating these opportunities, and we're learning from the community that we've cultivated over, well, really since this whole thing began. And the willingness to not get it right and get it perfect, that's difficult. That's, I think, a really difficult thing. But leading, like, as you said, Debbie, with commitment and intention and integrity is critically important to us. And I think all three of us are very willing to look at not just our own perspectives, but invite the perspectives of others to be like, oh, we hadn't thought about that. And if we just look back over the conversations we've had with our community, how many great ideas have sprung from those conversations? Not from the three of us, but from the three of us engaging other parties that have different perspectives, different experiences, different mindset is just fueling this forward. So I think in addition to that, making money is that it does take time. It takes time to grow and nurture. And it's a constantly evolving sort of machine that we have to put that time into before we're actually going to see a lot of the payout, a lot of the results, a lot of like that influence into the industry as a whole, because it is going to take time.
Most definitely. And Debbie, you made me think of this phrase that I've heard in the past. It's like, if it makes money, it makes sense, right? And that is a very profit centered way of looking at an endeavor that, while there's nothing wrong with making money, this is not the main objective about this. It's an understanding that getting employers, especially fitness professionals, well-being professionals, like what if we gave you the opportunity to have less turnover in your business for that? And, they look at this very nebulous thing. Oh, it's going to cost me $20,000 to turn over employees. And their mind is, oh, well, okay, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Sure. It's just this number out there, but they want to see that number now. You're going to help me change this now. They want that ROI now for that. It's kind of one of the disappointing things about our industry is we're like fast food. We rail against it, but we're just like it. And in many ways, we want everything quick and we want it cheap and all that. And good things cost money. Good things require time. I mean, think of anything good in your life. It wasn't easy all the time. It took a lot of effort. And I think this program, I'm going to say, has failed. I'm going to say failure has failed quite a bit throughout the years. Because one, has been done in silos, just individual big box gyms or certification organizations. As an industry, we do not play well together traditionally. We want to take our ball and go home type of thing. That's kind of who we've been. And we come from a very gimmicky background where we have always been this late night infomercial business, this 30 days business, this 60-day business, this P90X business. I don't care. I'm just going to say stuff. We're just this lift mentality up to this point, good type of thing. And I also think because since the investment is not so quick in return, like you get from whatever product you're selling in a gym or outside of the gym, it just feels kind of out there. It feels kind of like this pie in the sky idea. And a lot of operators and business people don't like stuff like that. They, right, Debbie? They want it to be very tangible for that. So I think that we, are semi crazy for doing this, but it's like, but completely committed to make it.
But we're still having fun.
We're having
We're
a great
still
time.
laughing together. We're building relationships and bonds that are very joy filled. Yeah.
So semi crazy, but it is one of the better things I do in my life. And I think we've all talked about that in our meetings. It's really warm and fun and inviting. We're doing the thing we love to do with people, which is build relationships with other people for that. So it's interesting. There's certainly a lot of shortcomings, but let's focus on like where we're at with this. We have Director Debbie, who's the engine of our meetings and everything going on. Debbie, I think it'd be great just to give everyone who's going to be listening to this, because they're going to be listening, they're going to get it down their throat on social media and in LinkedIn and all that. Where are we at with our program here? And what's the optimistic outlook for what we're doing?
Yeah, super exciting. So, like Darian said, we are 12 months in. And like Erin said, boy, this has gone fast. 12 months, right? So, honestly, meeting, creating, innovating, discussing. We have created a concept, the three of us. We invited first round of feedback around the need for concept at World Idea in 24 with mini breakout groups, very informal conversation. What do you think if we were to do? What would the tenets possibly be for a program like this? We took that feedback and agreed we wanted to dig a little bit deeper and created a pilot group. We did a survey that produced almost 300 survey results of what a program like this should include. We used the data to build a 5-week pilot with over 30 participants in it who were very committed. And let me be clear, this was individuals in the industry nationwide. We have international, we have Canadians in the program coming on their own time to give us feedback. And we had 5 SMEs lead sessions, again with weekly debrief sessions. So we took that right up to the holidays, and we had 2 debriefs post pilot to seek more feedback yet again, what worked. And it's interesting, like Erin said a little bit ago, we had a concept. We had an idea of how we would build a mentorship program. And with each passing week and more conversation, it was like, well, we thought we were going to go with individual coaching, one-on-one mentoring. Now we're talking about group, and now we're talking about specialty cohorts. So there's been a lot of evolution from our very engaged group to kind of guide us along. Here we are in January, and we're getting ready to go live with a group coaching program, a specialty cohort in marketing, and then several others to follow. And then if all the stars line up, we'll be able to launch our individual coaching program end of March, early April, Q2. So we're almost at go live. We're almost at go live.
Pretty amazing stuff, right? Erin, you want to talk a little bit further about kind of this cohort concept that we really weren't expecting, and what people can expect from this? Like, our first one's going to be a marketing cohort.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, it wasn't something we were expecting. And honestly, we could probably spend an entire podcast on lessons the three of us have learned or things that we learned that we never saw coming, which I think has been a really big blessing. So, this cohort idea was born out of this pilot and deeper conversations about these topics that people want to learn about, whether it's business development, it's getting started in the industry, it's leadership, it's speaking and writing, whatever sort of topic or area that they want to improve upon or learn more about. We realized that it takes, again, like this program, it takes time, and we need to be able to have an option to do a deep dive. So, this notion of doing a cohort based, that's a specialty topic. So, like you said, we're starting with marketing, and it's going to be an 8-week cohort. There's going to be a subject matter expert that leads it, who is an expert in that particular topic area and has a proven track record, success, and leading, other groups through these types of lessons. And it's going to be done in an 8-week fashion. There will be a certain time that they meet every single, session that they meet. And it will include high level sort of educational pieces about what the topic is, but there will be work involved. So the whole goal of the 8-week cohorts is for people to come out with something, not just a set of information or a battery of knowledge. It's to come out actually having done some things that directly influence or benefit their business if they're a sole proprietor, or building their brand, or whatever it might look like. Maybe they'll build some confidence in marketing and what that actually looks like. And how do you do it and do it well? And what are the things that I can be doing in my business that do meet the objective of, say, you have a strategic plan or your 5-year plan. So that's really the idea of the cohort, is sort of like this mini class where you take a deep dive into a specific topic and come out on the other end of it having met some specific objectives for your business, your personal and professional goals. And I think it's going to be a really exciting experience. I already have a lot of interest in these cohort type groups. And not only that, but within a cohort, you are connecting with other individuals, and it becomes sort of this mini community that you're learning together. So in a sense, there's mentorship within the mentorship. So that's something that was really, I guess, an aha moment. I think the three of us would probably agree to that when we were in this pilot going, oh, that makes so much sense to have a mini sort of offshoot of a larger topic. So that will kind of be the model going forward.
Yeah, I think so. And it was very surprising to me. but it makes a lot of sense. And also, I could say too, it builds off of which this is levels of mentorship. I'm looking at it. And for instance, this marketing cohort is a great way. Let's say our subject matter expert for the marketing cohort, if you love that 8 weeks, but you feel like I want individual time with the person who created this program, then we launch into our individual one on one mentorship coaching program that we have that will be coming in Q2. So it's different than a lot of programs where you may just get an educational seminar. That's it.
Mhm.
And here it's a one stop shop. Man, I had a great time in Erin's cohort. I'd like to talk to Erin, have her mentor me. That can be done through our platform. You match with Erin. And so you're getting different levels of mentorship, one on one, smaller group. And Debbie, if you want to talk a little bit about our 12-month program and how
Mhm.
that's a little bit different too.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a really good point, Darian. I love this because it really does address one, the respect of our community that we have. Those 30 individuals found a place and space to just say what they felt and share ideas. And we were just going with the flow. Like we didn't know what we were gonna get. And this is just magic that this cropped up. But I think this what Darian is highlighting is the ability to have education and development in different ways, right? So some individuals learn really well. And we heard this from our pilot group. Oh, please, Demi, don't put me on the spot. Don't ask me a question. I have to think about it, but I'll send you some feedback later, right? Like, and I would laugh because I was saying, Darian, what do you think about this? And for some, that was very uncomfortable. Like they didn't want to address it. So some individuals like to learn in a group. So our group program will be 12 sessions, 60 minutes each. We have crafted 12 topics with possibly 12 different SMEs. We might have some SMEs do more than one, but 12 topics that are relevant right now. Things are happening in the industry. And you'll have opportunity to come and participate in 12 group sessions. Like Darian said, if you want to have one-on-one coaching, that option will come online at Q2. And some people do better one-on-one. I mean, we see the value and need there to everyone's business model might be a little bit different and or I could see a lot of students wanting this coaching too, right? So what direction do I go in? I'm at this crossroads. Am I going here? I'm going there. And then the deeper dive where you're trying to build your business and you know you need more help with, let's use marketing because we know it's coming online. And speaking to it from my experience, I really needed help with that. It's going to be an opportunity to get all the nuts and bolts, but with the group that's going through the same maybe pain points that you are. So different learning styles at different places in our business. It's not a one stop fits all. You'll get to choose what, and you can do one or more of the different options and come in and out of the program as you see fit based on the challenges that you're facing in career or maybe you're looking for a new job, whatever it is, we're going to have opportunity for you.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's actually, I don't think that we were thinking it was going to be all these levels to it, but it actually makes more
Nope.
sense to have it this way. And then in addition to this, we are also looking at a process where we are, approaching club owners, university programs to provide kind of a blanket based process. So, hey, for the club owner, what would it be like? Because we know a lot of club owners don't really have the time to mentor all of their employees and give them that guidance. I know when I ran a club for a long time, I did my best to make sure I spent a lot of one on one time with my staff, but it's hard to do when you're in charge of literally HR, marketing,
Mhm.
payroll, all these different things that the GM, director of a club, has to deal with. So making it easy for you is part of this. It's like, hey, we have the program. We're going to come in there and we're going to mentor your employees and help them through our vast network of people. And then they're going to be better for you. They're going to thank you for having this option, and they'll probably stay with you much longer because of that. So that turnover will be reduced. And as we know in our industry, especially in big box gyms, it's just a churn and burn situation. Wouldn't you like to stop that? Like that's what we're trying to do. for that here. So we see this as a variety of pathways to mentor people in our business. And I think, as Debbie always says, not just fitness. This is about well being. This is fitness, health, well being professionals, everything underneath that. Whether you're a group exercise instructor, yoga instructor, club operator, personal trainer, what physical therapist, we're here for you. And the
Mhm.
beautiful thing about our cohort program, too, is that we can literally take any topic that is in high demand, place an incredible subject matter expert, do a deep dive, and you'll get way more out of that than you've ever probably got in your education for that specific thing or that. So, in my mind, it's going to be pretty incredible.
Mhm. And I
Mm.
think this program also addresses in that employer space comment, Darian, the opportunity. I hear this all the time. And this year I sat on two convention planning committees, the Southeastern Planning Committee for Medical Fitness Association for our Southeastern Conference. I also sat on the annual planning committee for the annual conference in November. And the number of times I heard center directors say, I would love to bring 10 of my staff to this 1.5 day convention or 3 day convention, but don't have the budget because my organization will not pay for it anymore. So choices are being made about where employees can seek education. And if it involves hotels, flights, food, time away from work at several days in a row, the answer is very much no anymore because the budgets are not that robust. And so I think having a virtual solution whereby employees in clubs sponsored by their employers, their directors can say, Darian, you can do this 12-month education series from your desk. It's 1 hour and you're going to have the latest and greatest and best speakers in the nation with the leading topics for a reasonable price. I think that's a win-win-win opportunity for a lot of club directors. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. And Aaron, you know what? I wanted to follow back with you on this too. I mean, it's just for all of us, but I think some people will have some ideas. There's so many people in our industry want to be mentors. They reach out to us, hey, we want to be a mentor. Aaron, maybe you can talk a little bit about how to become a mentor in this project that we're doing and what kind of our standards, what we're looking at in this to make sure it's a quality situation for someone to become a mentor.
Right. So as a group, we've given that a lot of thought. How do we vet people? How do we ensure and maintain that integrity that we're trying to lead with and develop this program with? And so becoming a mentor, there will be an application process and a mini interview process. There will also be an onboarding process. So our goal and vision is to have welcome packets or some sort of informational packet that outlines the roles, responsibilities, and expectations of anyone suited to be a mentor. And we will also have an onboarding for mentees as well, so that they have an understanding of, you got to put some time into this. This is what is expected with from you on your end. But more than anything, we don't want this just to be a free for all. We want people as mentors who are committed, who are willing to basically take somebody by the hand and teach them lessons that took them years to learn. And we want them to be individuals who are unselfish with their knowledge, but that also have a proven track record in the industry of success. And success looks different for every single person. It's not a cookie cutter or you're expected to have spoken this many times at a national convention or it's not like that. What it is really trying to recruit people who are willing to do the nurturing and who are willing to put the time in, but also who have the expertise in that particular realm or what our skills are that we're looking to fill. But there will be a screening process and a vetting process to ensure that we do maintain that integrity and we are creating an experience for people. We're not building products, we're not selling products, we're creating experiences for people. And to do that and ensure that we deliver that quality experience, we have to have some sort of standards for those that are going to be delivering that mentorship, whether it's one-on-one, it's the group, or it's the cohort, whatever that looks like. So there is a pretty serious vetting process behind what our vision is.
which alone makes our program very different. Honestly, I mean,
Yes.
I think that word integrity has come up so much in our meetings. And I think primarily because we have all experienced being in this business being amazing. It's given us a lot back. That's why we're doing it, big portion of it. But there is another side to our business that heavily lacks integrity. And I think if we want to have the industry we want to see, we have to start drawing a line in the sand and saying, if you want to be a part of this, you got to conduct yourself in a better way, in a more integrity based fashion, or you got to cut out all the gimmicky stuff all the time. This attention seeking behavior constantly and, throwing up these thirst traps left and right in our business. It's so nauseating. So just because you want to do something doesn't mean you're going to get to do it. And we need more standards in in our industry. So that's been a big part of our conversation is just because you want to be a mentor doesn't mean you're going to be one. And that's not to say, hey, we're making this so hard. It's just say like, let's think about this. You may have a passion to want to help people, but is it being served in the right area? Maybe it's not mentorship. Maybe it's a different aspect, but it's our job to be the guardians of this and make sure that we're steering you in the right direction. Maybe you'll be an incredible mentor in this program, and maybe it's just not for you. That's life. That's how life operates. Not everybody can do every single thing for that. So it's for us, it's not necessarily being harsh, but it's just more of like we have to have better standards. And you may be better used in a different area, but maybe you'll be amazing for this too. We don't know, but there's definitely going to be a process for it as well.
Yes.
Debbie, anything to add on that, or we hit that pretty hard?
Right. Right.
Awesome. Yeah. So I think we're at the state now where the future of this is almost upon us, literally. So I think right now is a good kind of a call to action portion as we kind of wrap this up here. What do we want to see from our colleagues to help get involved in this? Because this is obviously we're doing this podcast because we want to get the word out, we want to give you updates. But as Debbie said in our last meeting, this call to action. What should be the call to action to our industry in your mind for things like this?
Oh, there's so many things I want to say, but in interest of being brief and then being gone, I will stick to the point. I think I think one of the things that I know we want to see is people talking about the value of mentorship because that's not something that is ever really talked about. If you come into this industry from a formal education, you might have an internship. That's not the same thing. And if you come into this industry from a different walk of life, maybe it was a career change, you don't have someone standing at that starting point to say, "All right, let me show you the way," as an orientation. You kind of pick up these pieces here and there. Maybe you learn from people you're following on social media. I think it's critically important for would-be mentors, people who are currently mentoring but doing it in their own sort of way, anyone who is looking to find mentorship to really start talking about it as a conversation and reinforcing the value of what this can bring and ultimately how it can benefit you and the industry as a whole. Because we don't want this to just be like, what's in it for me type of a thing. We really, as these industry professionals, are here because we want to better the lives of others. We want to help them achieve some sort of well being goal or longevity, or, we're all sort of climbing a similar mountain. We're just doing it on our own in a lot of ways and in these little pockets. And I think it has to be a conversation and continuing to open the door to say, this is what mentorship can really bring. And I think you as mentors, anyone out there who's a mentor, should probably be asking yourself the question of what else can I learn? Because we as mentors, we still got a long road to go, right? There are things we can build on, there are things we can improve upon. So starting to take that introspective look at, I have things to contribute, but I also have things to learn and understanding the value on both sides of that.
Yeah, I think the call to action for me, for our listeners and the industry at large is very much what is it that you need in your respective world, where you're working, what you're doing, teaching, leading, coaching, whatever role you have, what is it that this project might support you with? So the idea of you might be a boutique owner, you might be the head of big box facilities. And to Darren's point, you don't have time, truly you don't, and or the budget to do all the mentorship yourself. And so we would like to partner with other agencies where we believe we can have impact. And I think the call to action is let us know what you need. What is it that you need? What are your thoughts around a mentorship program? Any one of us will gladly jump on a call and hear all of your thoughts. And how would you like to be a part of this new nationwide, international, soon to be international mentorship program? What can we do to help you is my question in the call to action. How do we all come together to make our day over day that much more rich because we have this available to support so many, understanding what support means to our listeners?
And I love that. I think that's going to be a central question. And we'll be reaching out to you because we got a big list of people and organizations is what do you need from us? Because I think this group, we have a lot of flexibility to offer a variety of things. So we can make your life easier and help have healthier, more vibrant, more excited people in our industry and that you're employing. Or if you're an entrepreneur, how can we make your life better in the business and feel like, man, I got something out of this that's going to exactly help me get to where I want to be? We are a one-stop shop for that. So please, when we reach out to you, do not get back to us. This isn't like some crazy hard sell. This is something literally all of you keep telling us, oh, this is so needed. How many times we heard that? This is so needed. All right, if it's
On
needed,
repeat.
step up to the plate then. If it's needed, step up, be open to the idea, and let us be part of helping to craft whatever you need within
Yeah.
this. And maybe it's something outside of these products, these three things we're doing. Maybe it's something unique. We have no clue, but we want to be open to it. So that's our call to action to you guys. Thank you, Debbie and Erin, for being on podcast today.
Yeah. Thank you.
And obviously, I'll be seeing you guys again very soon. So,
Yes. Haley.
like all the time,
All the time.
All the time.
all the time. And thank you for partnering us being together to do something that's truly monumental. And last thing I'll say is we don't really, in our society, we don't really do projects anymore that last beyond our lifetime, our individual lifetimes. I wish we did more of that. And that's one of the big reasons why I wanted to do this. I want something to be remembered by. I'm not joking. Even when I'm long gone, I want people to remember that we did this and that it was meaningful. And I think I would want to see a society where we do more of those things, where we think about the people who are coming after us, way at hundreds of years after us, and that we decided to really take a leap and do something really hard, like really hard, for the purpose of not only our current professionals, but people will never even know in the future for that. So thank you for being a part of that.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Till next time, Far Side of Fitness. So honored to have our team here, and we'll chat next time.